Namaste, Angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of Sunday, November 15th through Saturday to come, November 21st, beginning with the dice and 29. Sex, and it's 50-50. This really seems like it's about love, but this is the general reading. 29 is spiritual partnership. I also have eat cake facing me, like staring me in the face. It could be celebration, maybe of a birthday, a Scorpio birthday, or perhaps well, not yet. Well, maybe, perhaps it could be maybe a slightly early celebration of a Sagittarius birthday. We have that coming up next Sunday, right? Yes, next Sunday, we will have entered Sagittarius season. Uh, Sex is pretty straightforward, and dirty movie is facing me. So maybe this is like sexting, phone sex, or like sending each other videos and stuff. Maybe that we're starring in from a previous time, or we're maybe live, like video sexting. But I don't know what the proper term for that is. And then it's 50-50, is about a relationship, and perhaps we're doing this because it takes work. We both have to contribute to the relationship, even if we're separated, we're parted right now, maybe because of the pandemic or some other reason, that we're having to go on video or over the phone as opposed to in person. So that's each of us giving our part. Now, of course, that's not what this means for everybody. 29 and spiritual partnership, particularly in the general reading, can be anything. It could be family members, business partners, a boss and employee relationship. It can be romantic interest, maybe parent and child, some sort of spiritual partnership. There's a spiritual connection and or a spiritual endeavor. And then it's 50-50. It can be about balance. It can be about give and take. It can be about reciprocity and equality and equity and all those things. And again, sex is sex. We could be trying to determine the sex of a baby, I'm also getting. So maybe this is what a spiritual partnership is, like in terms of co-parents, whether it's two people that are together or not. That can also be what's going on. And there could be like video, I don't know, video birth or video of a child, or something here. And maybe that's how we're determining the sex. That also may be what the eat cake is about, like a gender reveal. That's what the party is. We're trying to determine what the sex of the baby is. And it's 50-50, right? Well, it's a little bit more than 50-50. There are other possibilities, but typically it's 50-50. It's you're a boy or you're a girl. You're born, one or the other. All right, so Spirit still says sex. Eat cake. And it's 50-50. And of course, sex and eat cake can have meaning of its own for the grown and interesting. I kid. That's for whomever it's for, right? Whoever receives it. So anyway, beginning with Major Arcana card 13, which is death and represents the planet Pluto and the sign of Scorpio, which it rules. Again, the sun is in Scorpio right now. Mercury re-entered Scorpio after going direct out of retrograde last week. Venus enters Scorpio this week, so that's something that we'll talk about. Those of you who want to stick around at the end of the reading, after I do the cards, I will talk about what it means for Venus to have entered Scorpio. And then, of course, Scorpio will leave the sun this week, and again, Sagittarius will enter the sun. There's a Scorpio new moon this week also. So all the reasons potentially why death could be here. And it is about an end of something. In the moon reading that I just did, I was picking up something potentially about somebody leaving their family for whatever that meant. It could be because the love is over. So maybe again, co-parenting separately. Or maybe there's some other reason why somebody needs to leave their family. Maybe they're going off, like a soldier, or to work, or something like that. But in this picture, it's like the father or the king, he's dead. The woman is turning away. You know, she looks like a bride. She's got on white. She's got flower, like a crown of flowers. She has her head turned like she doesn't want to look. And then there's a child here that's left behind. And then there's some sort of like officiate, a cardinal, a pope or something, like the Hierophant. Um, so this could definitely be about leaving, again, a family for whatever reason. And then death is also about transitioning into a new phase of your life or your relationship, or the need to let something go and leave it behind, whether it's an energy, a dynamic, or an actual situation and or person or relationship. Also upright immediately behind it is the devil. These two together, there could be some sort of addiction. Maybe there's a need to leave that alone. If you're, dealing with drugs or alcohol or even sex, or porn. People have porn addictions, thinking about dirty movie and video and sex and all that stuff. Um, you could be addicted to any number of things, or stuck in a toxic relationship, codependent relationship. I talked about that in the moon reading also, the Scorpio moon reading. This could be something has ended and you are hesitant to let it go, or you're finding it difficult to let it go, to get over the fact that it's done. I will tell you, I don't know what the other cards here are, but I had been shown that the Lovers was here, and I'm just going to point it out because the devil always reminds me of the Lovers. You see it's kind of like the mirror opposite of the card. The two naked beings. These are like demonic, and these are, it's like angelic and pure. That's the way that it's illustrated. This could also have to do with Diwali. Good over evil, light over dark. You see this, even this card is very dark, the black background. Here you got the sun is out, it's all happy. This is love. This is like Dante that's sort of hovering over these being, it's like a Sagittarius energy, right? The red winged angel. So there could be something about good over evil, and maybe leaving a toxic relationship for a more positive one. Maybe leaving something that's going nowhere fast for something where there's actual love. Or even to be single for a while so that you can ultimately have this is also something that I'm getting. Of course, major arcana card 6, the Lovers, represents the planet Mercury and the sign of Gemini most directly. And that is, again, where Scorpio is located. So maybe that's what that's about. So the next card, speaking of being single, maybe that's what this is. The Page of Wands. The way he's looking at it, like, I never had one of these things to myself before. The Page of Wands is an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or potentially a Scorpio, ruled in part by Mars, right? The red planet, the fire planet, the planet of action and aggression. And wands are about movement and action. So this could actually be more Scorpio energy too. Or maybe Jupiter. Jupiter very prevalent in the reading I just did, the Scorpio new moon reading also. But more importantly, the Page of Wands brings news. Pages come bearing news, and this one comes bearing news of some sort of brand new opportunity. And for somebody or some of you, this is you maybe being single for the first time, or the first time in a long time, or maybe living by yourself for a first time, or traveling by yourself for a first time. Wands can be about travel, maybe for work. So maybe, again, that could be what this is about, leaving a family for some sort of work. I got to go off to do this work. There's also a sailboat here. Like I got to sail off, I got to take off. I don't know, I'm getting something with that. And speaking of Sagittarius, in traditional tarot, most directly, the King of Wands represents the sign of Sagittarius, as opposed to Leo or Aries, for example. But of course, can be representative of one of those signs as well, in addition to someone who's not a fire sign at all, just likened to those traits or the traits and attributes of a fire sign, and or having something to do with movement and action and perhaps travel and work. Oh, there's a lot of upright cards today. The next one is the Hierophant, and it's funny because I said here they're not wearing the same clothes. This guy's got on yellow, this guy's got on red. But it is the same thing, like a pope or like a cardinal. If you look at the hat, some sort of officiant. Somebody's marriage could be coming to an end. That could be, again, about leaving the family, whatever that is here. Leaving a toxic relationship, being single, and or um, the other direction, the other option is maybe not being single. Maybe this could be a connection to a new relationship, especially. And look, this is the last upright card. Isn't that funny? So the next, as you can see, is the Hermit. He's in reverse. The Hermit most directly represents the sign of Virgo, and whether upright or reverse in terms of love and relationships, since that seems to be coming through for whatever reason, is about a relationship from your past being rekindled. Virgo also ruled by Mercury, so that could be why that's there too. In addition to Gemini, where Scorpio is located. Look at the king and queen here. They're both facing each other. There could definitely be some wand and air connections taken off this week, maybe in a serious way, with the Hierophant in between them. Maybe engagement, marriage, situations like that. Or if it is, the opposite, obviously, then maybe some sort of separation. But I mean, look at how they're facing each other and looking, and it's like this is built in honesty. Look how he has his right hand raised. It's like, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth? Yes, I do. And then she's got her sword of truth, and then he's got like his wand. Like, I'm putting my foot down. I'm putting my stick down. The real deal, or like, don't give me any crap. Don't give me any bullshit. They're both like that. Like, they want it real. They want it authentic. So this could definitely be pointing to connections in general, but maybe specifically between a fire sign and an air sign, and or a Scorpio and an air sign. And then maybe again breaking free from something, so leaving something behind. That could be Eight of Swords in reverse, perhaps is connected to death and leaving something behind. And Seven of Pentacles in reverse is possibly connected to, again, some weight or being over, and now it's time for you to leave. Maybe you're revisiting something or someone from your past, or they are you. Something's being revived from the past, or there is something nostalgic going on with you, around you, memories from your past and or childhood, of family members or siblings maybe. This is also a soulmate card in the tarot. The Six of Cups could be connected to, again, a relationship from your past being rekindled. This may be you thinking about it. This is you making a decision, perhaps about an earthly matter. Two of Pentacles in reverse. Four of Swords. Maybe you had been on a break, or you're taking a break, a moment now to think about it because it was painful. That thing hurt. But here's the Queen's Sword, or like the Ace of Swords, like this one lone sword here that you can take up to protect yourself or to begin again after you're over this break. You'll be connected to actual illness or surgery or recuperation. If not, rest, recovery, just a need for some alone time. Five of Pentacles in reverse is no longer feeling left out in the cold, and from a financial standpoint, things definitely on an uptick and picking up for you. And having seen the Seven of Pentacles in reverse yet again, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and cut. I used to specifically just do 8 piles. Now I kind of just do whatever. Whatever number of piles they end up in, like at random. And that now brings us to a new overall energy of the Three of Pentacles in reverse. A worker energy for the most part. I'm going to get the stands. Yeah, a worker energy for the most part. I was saying but it's like the time where you have to put forth your best work. It's not a time to slack off or you want to put your best foot forward with this card. Also, if it is connected to love and relationship, this is a very fertile time for you in your relationships. And look, the Hierophant is back again, upright, immediately behind that as I'm talking about relationships. It's a very, very fertile time. Somebody, again, maybe getting married, starting something new. Fertility, the energy of fertility can be connected to newness, giving birth to something new in your relationship. So maybe a deepening of that relationship in a traditional way. The Hierophant represents tradition. Also, most directly represents the sign of Taurus. A Taurus may be significant. That may be from where the pentacles are coming as well. If it's connected to work, again, best foot forward. And then in relationships, it's a very fertile time. It's if you've been trying to get pregnant, to make an addition to your family, this is a very good week to move forward with that. And if you're looking for love, it's a good way to, or a good time to meet people, and you may meet them specifically through your work. Maybe not necessarily at your job, but through your work. So, it could be a vendor, a client, a customer, a co-worker, whatever. A contractor that shows up there to fix the cable, whatever the situation is. All right, so I'm going to pull 4 cards. Let's move them a little bit closer. This is probably going to be good if I have to move it. If it's not in frame, I'll move it. And so the first card is going to most directly represent us this week. It is the King of Wands. He's back. So that Sagittarius energy, that Jupiter energy is back. Again, there was tons of it in my moon reading. And then speaking of fertility, with our overall energy of the 3 of Pentacles in reverse, there was also a lot of Empress energy. She popped up like 3 times, and I talked about us like pretty much the whole time. I like avoided talking about the national scale and the election and stuff. I didn't avoid it, but I just didn't feel I felt the need to more so talk about us. I just like mentioned that briefly. But after I was hearing like, you should have told them. So the Empress could possibly have represented Kamala Harris in part 2. She is a Libra. And the Empress does represent the planet Venus and the signs that she rules. And of course, Libra would be one of them. And then we had the Emperor also show up. And the Emperor is an Aries or a Scorpio. And of course, Joe Biden is a Scorpio. So we did have a repeat of that. I don't know why that just came to mind just now. Anyway, the energy surrounding us, so close friends, family members, co-workers, all that kind of stuff, is the 5 of Cups in reverse. Moving beyond disappointment or something maybe. Work and finance, Lovers in reverse. And lastly, love and relationship, Hangman in reverse. Interesting. Hangman is always about letting go. Fits with death. And I think they're really good. They're in frame really good. So let's go ahead and get started. So we already talked about the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. Let's go straight to the King of Wands upright. If you are looking for a job, I don't know why I'm feeling the need to talk to you about that first, but if you're looking for a job, then this is a really positive sign that not only a job, but a job that you're going to be really pleased with is coming soon. So that's positive. If you are already working and happy, but maybe you need some sort of help or guidance, or I guess we could all use, and that a mentor that's positive and stuff. You may very well have one. This is probably a man, and somebody who you can really trust and count on. Although, he could be a little bit rough around the edges and maybe sometimes not say what you want to hear, and you be like, whoa, 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 like you just went off the rails. That's not where we were going with this. It's like that kind of person, potentially a loose cannon, right? Or somebody that's known to go rogue, but they really do have your best interest at heart, so that they're not meaning to hurt you in a malicious way. And it could be somebody who's in a position to sort of help you along and further your career, or at least teach you something. You know what I mean? So like learn what you can from him, and if you see a time, an area where you need to differentiate yourself too, from him, or separate yourself, and I'm gonna, well, that's not me, I don't do all that, then do that also. Um, in a general, the this is a very positive card, and it's pretty much good things wherever it shows up at. In a general sense, it's all about feeling good and ambitious and goal oriented. Right, you're on the move. This is a wands are about action and movement and handling business, and so that's what you're feeling. It's a very positive energy, passionate. I'm ready to go after whatever it is I want, and the same is true when it comes to love. This is somebody who is like a protector, and they really care about you, and they're gonna show you very extremely like passionate love. They're willing to work hard because it's a card, an energy that's connected to work as well, as I mentioned in the beginning. Um, so they're willing to work at the relationship, and or to make the relationship work and do what they have to do. And it can also mean that, especially if you're single and you're wanting to meet somebody or haven't met somebody, that you're like very focused on your work and or career right now, and so that can make it difficult, a difficult time for romance. So um, you're gonna have to like consciously make time for that, or end up potentially married to your work. You know what I mean? Moving on to the surrounding energy of the Five of Cups in reverse, it says that we, or maybe the people close to us, closest to us, our close friends, family members, again, co-workers, and maybe some of our energy too, or maybe us in conjunction with these people, our romantic interests, our mate, our spouse, whatever, may have recently been through a difficult time. And again, similar to what I said about the Five of Pentacles that we saw as I was shuffling, this is about moving into a far better energy. Recovery is moving along. Things are on the uptick, and we should just keep moving. Again, with this energy, using this energy of the wands to keep propelling our movement, and now not allow anything to get stuck, and don't allow ourselves to get stuck in anything that's like over and done with. Like, let the past be the past and just keep it moving and rolling. So let's keep it moving and rolling right into the work and finance sector, and the Lovers in reverse. And this tells us, similar to this card, the Three of Pentacles in reverse, that we may be finding ourselves feeling really attracted to somebody that we work with or that we've met through our job. But it could really be somebody that's like an actual coworker that's around you all the time, or maybe a boss or a subordinate or something. And so this is not necessarily a bad thing, depending upon where you work. In some organizations, it's against the rules, um, but it's not always. So it's not always a bad thing. But it does. The card does warn you, particularly in reverse, about like mixing business with pleasure, or of the potential dangers of it. So it doesn't tell you not to do it, but it reminds you that you may want to stop and think about what you may be getting into. Is this a relationship you could lose your job over? If you do, can you afford to lose your job? Is that okay with you? Maybe it is. Um, you got to think it through before you go ahead and do it. And lastly, the actual card that is about love, the Hangman in reverse, as I mentioned, is about letting go. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to let go of your relationship, although it can absolutely be about that too. And I do want to congratulate those people who have found the strength over the past couple weeks, couple months, that because I've been seeing this, I think, for a couple months now. People like leaving relationships and stuff. So I do want to congratulate those people that found the strength to get up and go. I was talking to one of my clients recently. She's like getting her own apartment. You know, on the outside, she's married, but like behind the scenes, she's miserable in that marriage, and so she's moving out. And bravo to her to find the strength and the wherewithal and sustainability, like her own income and independence and means of doing that. I spoke to in all fairness, I actually did speak to a male client too, a divine masculine, a Taurus with I think like 4 or 5 kids, married a long time, like like 10 years or 10 plus years, and but he's not in it anymore, and so he's despite that he's finding the strength to go, and salute to those people. Anyway, so this can be about literally needing to let a relationship go, or a person go, or a person's memory go, or a relationship's memory go, so that you can move on with your life. But it can also be about it's like a vision of a particular kind of relationship, or a relationship specifically with a certain person, and leaving yourself closed off to meeting other people. Like, the only way I can be happy is if I'm with him, or I'm with her, or I live like this, and I have a white picket fence, and 2.5 kids and a dog. And that's not really the only way you can be happy. But you've closed yourself off to that. You've put that into the universe. Then maybe that's going to be your outcome. You're not going to have that, and so you're going to be miserable. Since you've said that's the only way you can be happy. So it's about avoiding that, and just facing whatever your reality is, and letting go of any like falsehoods that you're holding on to. Now, speaking of pentacles, and perhaps a Taurus with these cards, I am beginning with the Knight of Pentacles, who is trustworthy, dedicated, protective, and funny. It's important to make a detailed plan before starting any new endeavor. Once you have that plan in place, then you can take immediate action and get as much accomplished as possible. The Knight of Pentacles is a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Also upright is Major Arcana card, the Emperor. This could be the married man I was just talking about. Not specifically the married man I was just talking about, although he is a Taurus, but it can be that married man, whether one is a Taurus or not, that is thinking about making a plan and making a move, maybe out of a relationship. With Major Arcana card 4, the Emperor, which does represent the planet Mars, again, ruler of the signs of Aries and Scorpio. This is a father figure, a boss. Maybe that's with whom you're in love. For me, it can be a married man, a man with children, a divorcee, a widower. It's all those kinds of energies. Organization and logic, structure and discipline, leadership. Behind it is the Nine of Pentacles, enjoying life's little luxuries, spending quiet time alone, and successful self-employment. This can certainly be a single person's card for me, but it also means positive things for relationships and couples. It is about reciprocity and mutual adoration and respect for one another. And in either case, we have a brand new start here. And this Ace of Fire could very well be tied to the Scorpio new moon. There's a full moon in the background. But again, the fire energy does tie to the energy of Scorpio for me because of this Martian energy. Okay, the red planet is a ruler of Scorpio. An exciting new opportunity. Career advancement. Okay, that's very possible. Maybe that's why I was guided to start with work. Change your life now. This can be a new start in any and every area of your life. The next card is Major Arcana card, Renewal or Judgment, which also represents the sign of Scorpio and Scorpio's other ruler, the planet Pluto. It's one of my favorite cards, but it's in reverse, so I'm going to move on. Oh, look what's behind it, though. The King of Cups. So this could be the Scorpio, and look what's behind that. The Lovers. Isn't that funny? So here's that potential, again, Scorpio and Gemini energy, which would be, like the true divine masculine and feminine of all time. And then here is more Gemini energy, the high priest. That one sort of combines water and air, Gemini. Anyway, I'm going to mix up all the ones that we saw, just throw them into random places. Look, another Judgment. Another Judgment. Throw them into random places. Put some in the middle, some on top. And it is more Mercury or Gemini energy, or potentially Virgo energy, with Major Arcana card 0, the Fool, and the Dreamer for me. So the Fool doesn't necessarily represent the sign of Gemini or Virgo, but this card in this deck has always, for me, felt like Mercury. And again, Mercury is the ruler of both the signs of Gemini and Virgo, and Mercury is currently where Scorpio, I was going to say where Scorpio is located. Mercury is located in Scorpio right now. A leap of faith. Follow your dreams. That leads to unexpected opportunities. And speaking of Scorpio, boom. And again, you saw me throw the cards randomly and then shuffle them, mix them up real good. And now we have still the Mercury and Scorpio energy showing up. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice. Also charity work, which is love, at least as far as I'm concerned. The King of Cups is trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. So again, maybe Gemini and Scorpio energy, or perhaps Virgo and Scorpio energy. The next card is the Four of Swords, again in reverse. Remember, we saw it in the Rider-Waite. It showed up in reverse then too. Okay, I'm gonna just pull 4 cards from the back, like I did before. Move these closer, back to where they were, kind of, sort of, at least. All right. So off the top, it's another 9 of Pentacles. Your success has brought you financial security and the reward of much deserved time off to enjoy your own company. You may suddenly have a brilliant idea for your business or self-employment opportunity that will be very successful. So I think Jupiter is going to gift us with some awards this week. So Jupiter is both the planet and the god, if you believe in mythology and stuff, of luck, karma, growth, expansion. Again, Jupiter is Scorpio, not Scorpio, Sagittarius's ruler. Okay, and the king in traditional tarot practice, King of Wands most directly represents the sign of Sagittarius. So I think that, especially now that we're seeing the 9 of Pentacles, we are going to be feeling comfortable this week. Not necessarily like we're going to hit the jackpot and we're all going to be wealthy. I mean, as a matter of fact, I seriously doubt that. But we're going to be comfortable this week and not worried about stuff. And that's going to give us, allow us to maybe focus on some things we want to do, whether it is in our current work or starting something new, working on a project that we need to complete or something. Or again, looking for a job and finding something that we're going to be not only happy with because we're finally employed, but because it's a position that kind of fits us too. Surrounding energy attempt, the 5 of Cups in reverse is the King of Pentacles. So here it is again. The 5 of Cups is about having felt, like you were going through a difficult time before, but it's in reverse now, so that difficult time is over. If it was financial, again, you're on the uptick, and if it was, emotional or physical, you are recovering well, you're bouncing back. And so I think the King of Pentacles is a wonderful example of that. Compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and grounded. Those are his traits. He is a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Everything's going to turn out great. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible. And resources that come your way will be invested wisely. I actually think there's a couple of transits with Capricorn involving Capricorn this week. Atop the Lovers, work and finance. I didn't talk about finance with the Lovers. So it can you can be focusing so much on your love life, or maybe having your head in the clouds so much because of your love life, that you're not focusing enough on like your bank account maybe your balance and stuff like that. So, try to have a good time in love and also maintain your finances in balance too. Atop the lovers is the Seven of Swords. I don't like the Seven of Swords in the work and finance position. Caution will help you to avoid the loss of valuables, including non material resources such as time or peace of mind. Be aware of the results of your actions as well as what others might be doing behind your back. With the lovers in reverse and you maybe again getting caught up in love, I just hope that somebody is not like taking advantage of you and falsely leading you around or making you think that they're interested in you so that they can get money or get ahead or something like that. But in traditional tarot practice in this placement, it can mean that like your boss has a real focus on you, like they're watching you. Your employers are watching you. Um, so maybe it isn't a good idea to get involved with somebody that you work with if that's your scenario. In terms of finances specifically, be careful about like who you do business with, who you trust with your money and or business, and somebody may ask you for money to loan them money. Don't loan anybody anything you can't afford to um, live without if you don't get it back or you don't get it back when you know actually promised, because yeah, it might be a situation that you can't trust and you don't want to end up stuck and unable to pay your own bills, including maybe like your rent. You see this bird has the house key in his mouth. So you could end up in a situation where you're unable to pay your bills because you help somebody else to pay theirs. Avoid that. And lastly, for love and relationship, atop the Hangman in reverse, Three of Swords. So yeah, somebody actually is letting go of a relationship and or needs to like let go again of the memory of the relationship or the idea of having a relationship with a particular person and or a particular way, like it's over. um or let go of the hurt from or having already experienced the loss. I'm going to pull the next upright card and we're going to further clarify, although it's pretty clear to me. It is, look what it is. Death. Again, death represents the sign of Scorpio. It's like we've come full circle. Death is the card with which we started. It was from a different deck. It was from the Rider-Waite, but it's the card with which we started. So death to this relationship or phase of this relationship, or some sort of memory or hurt. Something we have to let go of in this regard, with regard to love and relationship. It's time to release the past and to move on to something new. This ending is the first step on the way to a happier future. So even though, like I was saying before, even though it may seem sad, or anytime there's a breakup or a break, that can be sad, but there's much better to come. And so many aces and everything showed up in the moon reading. This is not a time to be sad. I promise you, everything is going to be better. So there's a reason for even breakups, if that's what it means for you. Further advice to everybody. Oh, why am I doing that? I can just use these. Those would be the masculine's advice cards, and then here I just need one from the other deck for the feminine. And these were just the cards that were upside down that I didn't choose when I was looking for the next upright card. But they happen to be one from each deck. So I'm going to leave that there for the masculine. Then we got one for the feminine. Again, our overall energy is the Fool with the King of Cups behind it. So again, this is super positive. It's saying take a leap of faith, perhaps toward love, perhaps specifically toward a water sign, maybe specifically a Scorpio. And you're going to be happy you did, right? This is taking a chance, taking a risk. So further advice. Again, you got to leave, man. You got to leave. This is the Eight of Cups. You feel that there's more to life than what you're living, so it's time to move on. I started talking about a man leaving from the very beginning, from the time I saw that first death card with the woman with her head turned. It's time to move on. Maybe moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy. But either way, you are in control. You're the emperor, so it's up to you. All right, you're in control. Feminine. Ace of Spring, Ace of Wands. This is what I was saying. There's all kinds of new starts. So don't be sad about leaving something behind. A wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may have come as a surprise, but you'll still want to leap into action. That's exactly what the Fool tells you to do. Take a leap of faith. Still want to leap into action and to passionately pursue every possibility. Well, good thing you're the King of Wands. That's going to help you to passionately pursue whatever it is you want to pursue. From the Angel Tarot to the Masculine, it is Major Arcana card Renewal, Judgment. Review and evaluate a favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction. He's going the opposite way. Didn't I say something like that before too? The first time we saw the King of Wands and we had the Page of Wands was right in front of him and they were going in opposite directions. Yeah. Judgment is one of my favorite cards. It is about abundance that is earned. So it's rewards, awards, recognition, second chances, whether in a job, some other experience in your life, like, oh, this is coming around again. I get another shot at this, whatever it is. Could definitely be in relationship to another potential meaning in relationships is coming to some sort of crossroad or like a make it or break it point in a relationship and needing to decide where do we go from here, if anywhere. And yes, sometimes it's over. Sometimes you got to let even a memory go. You've been holding on for dear life. This person's never coming back, just let it go. Or if they are, it's, you can't wait for them to come back. You can't, like hold your breath waiting for them to come back. Live your life until they do. It's like that sort of thing. Again, very, very positive card, Judgment. Also, it's about like letting things go without judgment, and not being judgy. So no negative emotions, no guilt, no blame, no regret, no resentment. Just like living life in a very positive way. And it could very well be connected to, again, his walking away from something or walking toward something or someone. And feminine, for us, there's really something we have to let go of so that we can start something new. And that this came up last week too, particularly in the love reading. And I said, like, you have to close one door for the next one to open. Sometimes they say, oh, one door closes, the other one opens. Yes, that happens. But sometimes we physically have to close the one door. Like, we have to shut it. We're holding it open. We have to shut it in order for us to be able to, access that next door. And I think this is like the third, fourth time we've seen the death card. So definitely something we need to let go of, but there's something right there that's much better that wants us to be able to access it, whether that is in our work, in our love, in our general energy, leaving, dead, funky energy behind, moving on to something better. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff. I do appreciate it. For subscribing, please hit both the subscribe button and the bell button so that you hopefully get your notifications. And those of you who want to stick around, I'm going to go over now what else is going on this week. I'm just getting on my computer here. Okay, here we go. Beginning with the Christian holidays, Christian feast days. So we have one on the 18th. It is the feast day of the dedication of the basilicas of Saints Peter and Paul, apostles. And then on the 21st, we have the presentation of the Virgin Mary. So we'll take care of both of those now. For the first, I've gone to franciscanmedia.org, dedication of the churches of Saints Peter and Paul. St. Peter's is probably the most famous church in Christendom. Massive in scale and a veritable museum of art and architecture, it began on a much humbler scale. Vatican Hill was a simple cemetery where believers gathered at St. Peter's tomb to pray. In the year 319, which equals 13, or 4, or 11, 11, by the way, Constantine built a basilica on the site that stood for more than 1,000 years until, despite numerous restorations, it threatened to collapse. In 1506, or 66, Pope Julius II ordered it raised and reconstructed, but the new basilica was not completed and dedicated for more than 2 centuries. St. Paul's, outside the walls, stands near the Abbazia del Tre Fontaine, where St. Paul is believed to have been beheaded. The largest church in Rome until St. Peter's was rebuilt, the basilica also rises over the traditional site of its namesake's grave. The most recent edifice was constructed after a fire in 1823. The first basilica was also Constantine's doing. Constantine's building projects enticed the first of a centuries-long parade of pilgrims to Rome. From the time the basilicas were first built until the empire crumbled under barbarian invasions, the two churches, although miles apart, were linked by a roof colonnade and marble columns. So they were several miles apart, but they were connected by columns and the roof. Peter, the rough fisherman whom Jesus named the rock on which the church is built, and the educated Paul, reformed persecutor of Christians, Roman citizen, and missionary to the Gentiles, are the original odd couple. The major similarity in their faith journeys is the journey's end. Both, according to tradition, died a martyr's death in Rome, Peter on a cross, and Paul beneath the sword. Their combined gifts shaped the early church, and believers have prayed at their tombs from the earliest days. And for the presentation of Mary, I went to Britannica, www.britannica.com. The presentation of Mary, also known as the presentation of the Virgin Mary, or the entry of the most holy Theotokos into the temple, is a feast celebrated in the Roman Catholic and Eastern churches on November 21st. And there was a story that I knew about why it wasn't the 22nd, which would be 6, by the way. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head anymore. Goodness, I have to look it up now. But there's a lot in this story. There's a lot of 6s, and there's a couple of 613s, if I remember correctly. Anyway, it was held in the Eastern Church in the 6th century. Okay, here we go. But did not become widely accepted until the 15th century, which of course is also 6. The Pope St. Pius, from 1566, or 666, through 1572, 69, so more of Mary's numbers, suppressed it. But in 1585, which is 613 or 19, Pope Sixtus, even the man's name is 6, the 5th, Sixtus the 5th, so 11, established the feast. Generally considered a feast of popular piety, it signifies Mary's total and lifelong devotion to God, as anticipated by her Immaculate Conception, and it heralds her future vocation as the sacred vessel for the Incarnation. Yeah, this is a story about when her parents took her to the church when she was a little girl. The feast is based on a legend contained in a book of James, a 2nd century work that's not included in the Bible. you can find her story in the lost books of the Bible, for one. It commemorates a visit by the 3-year-old Mary to the temple in Jerusalem, where she was dedicated to the service of God and left to be raised as a consecrated virgin. So basically, she was like left to be raised as a nun or with nuns. This act, and her parents had promised that they would do that, Joaquin and Anne, so they had to, right? Well, they didn't have to. Um, their free will could have let them not do it, but in keeping their promise to God, because they wanted to, because they were good, they were good practicing believers, they did. And this act was done in fulfillment. Oh, I could have just waited and read it from here. This act was done in fulfillment of a sacred promise made by her parents, Saints Anne and Joaquin, during their long struggle with childlessness. So they had no kids, they were old, and they begged for a child, and they said, please, if you give us one, we promise we'll do this with her. And so they kept their promise. And that is the story of the presentation of Mary. There's nothing on the Islamic calendar. There's nothing on the Hebrew calendar this week. I had thought there was for a second when I did the reading last week, but I looked, there's nothing. I think I'm like a week early. And so we're going to go to the planetary calendar. Of course, I didn't forget about 1119. 1119 is, I need a whole nother day to do a whole separate reading, and connect with King Osiris. But I did not forget him. We're just going to move on to the planetary calendar for this reading, beginning with November 15th, the first day for which this reading is. At 12:07 a.m., so another 19, the new moon in Scorpio occurs, 23 degrees Scorpio, for which I've already done the reading. It will be up probably immediately before this one. November 15th, again, at 1:38 p.m. this time, Jupiter will be quintile Chiron. That's Chiron, the wounded healer, which is currently retrograde in Aries, where Mars is also retrograde. So that's a busy little area. November 21st at 8:22 a.m., Venus, ruler of Libra, Taurus, and Gemini, enters Scorpio, 0 degrees. Also on the 21st, this is the last day for which this reading is, at 3:40 p.m., the Sun enters Sagittarius, also at 0 degrees. And lastly, on the 21st, at 11:45 p.m., the quarter moon occurs at 0 degrees Pisces. And that is it. But we're going to talk for a moment about what it means for Venus to be entering Scorpio. And for that, I went to www.tarot.com. Venus in Scorpio, intense, passionate, committed. And this transit will last from November 21st through December 15th. The Black Widow, the Mistress, skeletons in your romantic closet. I talked about skeletons in your closet in the moon reading, actually. Not knowing it said it here. Anyway, secretive about money and love. A sexy, magnetic, deliciously irresistible, intimate encounter. A healing and transforming bonding experience. Venus in Scorpio has the power to elicit all of this and more. Astrology considers Scorpio to be a tough placement for beautiful and sweet Venus. Scorpio isn't concerned with superficiality and prefers chasing after a transcendental kind of love. The Scorpion likes to get below the surface to examine the issues of power, fear, sex, and desire. When Venus is in Scorpio, Venus trades in social niceties for digging deeply and sparking needed change. Venus is about relationships and is sociable, friendly, and affectionate. Scorpio is about passion and likes to dive headfirst into love. This means we'll crave meaningful and intense experiences when Venus is in Scorpio. Depth and intimacy become more important, urging us to trade in frivolous flings for long-lasting romance. Love can border on obsessive when Venus is in this sign, compelling us to go all in when it comes to matters of the heart. Venus in Scorpio is a time when we want to shine a light on the shadows of our relationships, those nagging thoughts that we've been pushing aside to make peace. Well, they become impossible to ignore when Venus and Scorpio get together. It's a time to go beneath the surface, find the truth, and hold it up to the light of day. We'll try to figure out what we can to make it work, or if it's time to let go. This transit gives our relationships a major reality check, whether we want it or not. Venus in Scorpio can also bring power struggles and money concerns out into the table and into the open. Subtle issues become more obvious than they were before. How money is spent becomes a focus in partnerships where financial resources are shared. And this could also be a time when we have a stronger interest in making financial investments or decisions about loans, insurance, or other areas of our lives having to do with money. Yes, Venus and Scorpio can be pretty heavy, but it can also be truly amazing. All of this intensity leads to a stronger bond. So if you're fired up for the challenge, both emotionally and physically, this could end up being a transformative and sexy time that ends up bringing you and your partner much closer together. It goes on to talk about what it means for you if you were born with Venus in Scorpio in your chart. But for us, for me, that's it. Now, those of you who stuck around, if you enjoyed the reading, please do like, share, subscribe, comment, and all of that. And again, if you decide to subscribe, first of all, I greatly appreciate it. But do hit both the subscribe button and the bell button. I'd like to at least hope that you receive your notifications. Thanks again. Namaste.